Sure thing. Hi, Ufuk. How are you?
Good, Andrew. How are you been, mate? I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good to see you. How's Perth?
It's nice and sunny out there. It's quite warm, a lot warmer than
Right, should we
Wellington.
do a do it?
So I think the next couple of days is going to be a good challenge for us with the heat as well in Perth.
What was the travel like yesterday? What time did you leave Wellington, and what time did you get to Perth?
It was a long journey, to be honest. We got the 4 o'clock flight out of Wellington to Sydney, and then the flight. I think there was a 2 hour wait in Sydney, and the flight from Sydney to Perth. So I think we got in probably around maybe 10:30 to the hotel. Boys had something to eat and went straight to bed. So probably around 11 p.m., which is around probably 4 a.m. Kiwi time when the boys went to bed. So it was a long day of traveling.
And then I know you got a game to play first, and that's the most important bit. But on Saturday, I've got a tab open, looking at the flights back to Wellington. What time are you guys out of Perth on Christmas Eve?
Well, we leave. I know we leave the hotel at 4 a.m. to
Oh
go to
no.
the airport. And we got an early flight into Sydney, which I believe arrives around 1 p.m. And then there's only two flights that go to Wellington, one in the morning and one in the evening from Sydney. So most of the boys will be on the flight. I think the 6:30 flight that gets in at midnight to Wellington. So some boys will fly straight to Auckland from Sydney as well. I'm not sure if any boys are going to stay in Sydney. I'll be staying in Sydney myself for the couple of days for Christmas Day and Boxing Day. But look, the boys will hopefully get there midnight Christmas Eve and then get the opportunity to spend time with the family for Christmas Day.
And a few of the fathers might get some milk and cookies and maybe a carrot when they walk in the door at midnight on Christmas Day.
We can come down the chimney and put some presents underneath the tree, mate.
I reckon you look good in a Santa suit.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Um, with the beard, I mean,
Oh, okay.
just to be clear. But I guess, it's all sort of nice to laugh about it, but how do you feel about having that kind of travel, especially at this time of year when you are trying to balance the football with the family?
Yeah, look, well, we don't organise a schedule. The schedule is what it is. I think this is the first time under my tenure that the boys are actually going to get Christmas Day off. So I'm sure that we pleased with that because previously we trained on Christmas Day. This is our job. We unfortunately we work during the week, and our biggest work is done on the weekend. So and now it's holiday time, and I think it's a lot of opportunity for fans to come out to the games. So the games are scheduled around where the times where we have school holidays, and people can come out and watch the games. So look, it is what it is. We'll play this game, and then we've got a game on the second, against Melbourne City. So there's plenty of Christmases that will come in life for the players, and there'll be plenty of New Year's Eves and New Year's Days for the players as well. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously you're going to Sydney. What day do you come back together next week?
Boxing Day.
You come back on Boxing Day.
No.
You train on Boxing Day? Is that?
No, we won't train on Boxing Day.
Train on the 27th.
27th, yeah.
Cool. How important is it after such a great performance last weekend to string a couple together? Obviously, it's been a very mixed sort of bag so far.
Yeah, look, it's very important that we continue to build momentum after a good performance against, I think, which was a quality side of Adelaide. For us to, most importantly, win our home games, and we're playing in an opposition that I believe is still a good team and do well when they do play at home. So it's very important for us to continue that momentum and build some good momentum into winning games. I believe we need to get on a run. As you can see, the table is very, very tight with the teams. I think you can win a game and go straight to fourth, from 10th spot currently on the table. So for us, it's very important that we continue to go in the right direction.
Cool. Reed, if you've got anything, you can go now.
Yeah, I got a couple. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, mate.
Great. Yeah, just the first thing I'd like to point out, obviously Perth are bottom of the table. How does that, I guess, play into the mindsets going into tomorrow?
Look, for us, we respect every opponent that we play. You got to understand that I think the first 5 rounds, Perth played away from home. Now they're going to get a consecutive run of games at home. They beat Western United a couple of weeks ago at home. So look, for me, they're still a good team, a good squad, and they're probably slowly starting to get. I think Zatkovic is probably starting to get what he wants from the squad. So for us, it's very important that we still go out there and respect the opponent and focus that we need to go out there and do a job.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to point out as well, obviously, this is the third game back since the World Cup, and you guys have gone on, I guess, a bit of a run. You've started to put something together. Are you confident that you can, I guess, use those past two games? You have a draw with Western Sydney, and obviously last week's win against Adelaide is a springboard going into Friday.
Yeah, look, I've always had belief and confidence in my group. It was more about having some consistency within the squad, and I think we've had that the last 2 weeks, and that's sort of like shown with the draw against Western Sydney and a win against Adelaide. And now for us, like I said, to build momentum, it's very important that we keep that consistency within the group and continue to build on what we've done the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, fantastic, Ufuk. I don't have much else to add.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Ufi, Finn and Oscar, I presume, are still out. Who else hasn't travelled to Perth?
Finn and Oscar are still out. Wayno didn't travel. He's sick.
Right.
So we didn't. He didn't travel with the group, and also Ben Old didn't travel with the group. So he's got a hernia that he's getting surgery with. I think it was supposed to be done on the 22nd. But he should be back on the park on the 27th, which is great. Running, not training, but running. That's why we've had to modify Ben the last few weeks, because he's had that pain with the hernia that he's had. We tried to see if he could push through and get through, but I think it's one of those things that needed surgery. So he's going under the knife to get that fixed, and he'll be available to get him back onto the park running on the 27th, hopefully.
Is there a time frame for when he'll be back available to play football?
Well, hopefully he'll be available for the Melbourne City game.
Right. Speaking of Melbourne City, were you watching the Derby live on Saturday night when what happened? And what was your immediate sort of feeling at that time?
Look, I understand the fans' frustrations. I think they have the right to show and express their feelings, but I don't believe it was done in the right manner. But the funny thing is, for me, it's it's a handful of people that make it end up being worse for everybody else, because we had our fans that were disappointed, obviously, with the decision that's been made by the APL about the grand final. And the great thing was they moved from their normal seats and around to the other side of the stadium and still supported the players, because players don't make these decisions. I think we need to understand that it doesn't come from us, the coaches and the players. So for us, it was fantastic that the Yellow Fever still stuck around and supported the group in that game. But look, these are things that you don't want to see. At the end of the day, the game is important. The game is starting to grow. There's going to be things that we don't like, but I understand both sides of the coin, where we need sustainability in the competition to keep the competition up and running. I understand the fans' frustration in the sense that, probably you work hard to get to a certain point in the season and you're not able to play a grand final in your own state or country if we make the grand final, so in New Zealand. But, look, I understand it, but we don't want to see things like we saw that night.
Yeah. How did your interview with New Zealand Football go last week?
You might have to ask that question, mate, because if you ask me, I think it went well. No, it was good. I sat in front of him. I did a presentation of my coaching philosophy, my beliefs, my values, and all that type of stuff. And I went through, what we do and how I do things, and how we work in, a high performance unit. And at the end of the day, look, it'll come down to their decision and what they believe is the best person for that role.
Did you find it interesting having a couple of active players, Chris Wood and Joe Bell, sitting in on that? Yeah,
look, for me, if that's what they want to do and they want to have more transparency with players involved in interview processes, it's their decision. It doesn't change what I delivered and how I delivered it. For me, at the end of the day, I'm still a coach, and I'm going to still throw out there my beliefs and what I believe is the best way to have success and ambition and drive. I went through the tactical components of what we do as well. I actually asked Chris and Joe if they had any questions. They didn't have any questions, so I must have explained it quite well then.
And Gabby is still waiting to hear on the outcome of that process?
Yeah, well, they said that they'd like to get it done before Christmas, but I think it's going to be a tough endeavour to make that decision before Christmas. So we'll hopefully hear something maybe early January or mid-January.
And just lastly, there is a feeling this has perhaps dragged on a little bit, just given the applications did close start of November. I mean, how are you feeling about it? Was it a distraction at all? I know when I've been waiting to find out about jobs, it's been something I can't get out of my mind.
No, it hasn't been a distraction at all. I'm employed currently by Wellington Phoenix, and all my attention goes to Wellington Phoenix and the squad that we have at the moment. So, look, I let things play its course. If it's meant to be, Andrew, it's meant to be. I believe it'll be great in the sense of it'll be a great alignment with New Zealand football. In the sense that we've got 90% of the current under-20s at Wellington Phoenix. And I think it'd be great to be able to push players and provide opportunities. And one thing that I spoke about was players currently that are overseas that are not getting game time might be an opportunity to bring them back to Wellington Phoenix leading into a World Cup qualifier where they are getting 90 minutes in their legs rather than, bringing back players that aren't currently getting minutes, because with the national team, you don't have the opportunity. You have a 3-day lead-in or a 2-day lead-in for a World Cup qualifier, and if players aren't playing games, you don't have an opportunity to make them fit. So, do we provide an opportunity for those guys that are currently overseas but not getting what they want out of it, a pathway to come back and play and do well for also the All Whites?
Cool. Well, thanks for that. I hope that find out soon, and and have a good time in Perth, and also have a good time in Sydney as well.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to all, and hopefully all goes well tomorrow night.